Hey folks, Big Deano here again. This time taking a look at the SH Figuarts, well, what they're calling Super Saiyan Vegeta 2.0. But, well, let's be honest, we all know he's Super Vegeta in this form. Especially with the pose that they've gave him. So yeah. This is another one of the new mould figures. You'd be forgiven for thinking this was literally just the Trunks figure shrunk down a little bit with a new head, but it's surprisingly not. Not many of these joints have been reused. It's obviously the same sort of design, but they haven't really retooled as much as just redone it entirely. And you'll see what I mean in a second. But yeah, first things first, let us get the box out of the way. And yes, once again, it's the new style box. I was going to say the new non-web exclusive style box, but Whis, surprisingly, actually comes in this box and he's a web exclusive. So yeah, I don't actually know anymore whether they're simply just phasing out the old style ones and replacing them with these. At this point I would actually quite like it if they phased out the old style, because this style really, it pops a lot more in terms of figure design. So yeah, as you can see, Figuarts Super Saiyan Vegeta, even though it should really just be Figuarts Super Vegeta. Vegeta named it himself, guys, you can't rename it to something different. Bandai 2016, toy sticker, silver one obviously because this is a normal release. Machinations, Bandai, Dragon Ball Z, surprisingly not using the Dragon Ball Z Kai logo. Some pictures of him being smug at the side and at the back, and a picture of Vegeta at the bottom. And yeah, that's pretty much all that's here. They haven't really done anything surprising on the box. So yeah, let's bring the principal Saiyans back into view. Put them in the middle, that would help. And let's look at his accessories. First things first, we finally get a pair of crossed arms for Vegeta. Honestly, the one character in Dragon Ball that does cross his arms all the damn time, and Tamashii have only ever given him it once, and Scouter Vegeta. They've never ever gave him another set of crossed arms, which is bizarre to me. I mean, God's sake. I mean, Vegeta got a pair of crossed arms, and I think he crossed his arms once in the 10 minutes that he was on screen. In terms of faces, you get 4 of them, which is quite a lot. You get his normal stern sort of face. And yeah, I really think Tamashii captured Vegeta's likeness here perfectly. I mean, the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta was mostly alright, but this one just looks superb, especially for this sort of style of hair, which is different. I'll get to that in a second. And you've got a screaming face to the side for Big Bang Attack sort of poses, and screaming face facing forward. They have actually given us 2 of the same face, just changed the eyes round, which I am fine with. If they'd done that with every figure, you would have enough poses, enough facial expressions for everything. Honestly, the amount of times they've given us just a side-facing one and you need a forward-facing and vice versa, oof, it does my head in, honestly. So yeah, we have a pair of the grippy Final Flash sort of hands, which finally for this version of Vegeta is actually correct. You have a pair of fist hands that come on him in the box, pair of Ki Blast sort of hands, which are the same as always. You get 2 of these new sort of posy hands, which is new for Vegeta, but not unwelcome. And finally, you get his I am Super Vegeta pointing towards himself, smugly sort of face, as well as the hand to go with it, which can be doubled up as a thumbs up hand, but it is actually just him pointing towards himself. So yeah, all in all, nice array of accessories, closer to what we used to get, especially due to the fact that, I mean, it's mostly all new in terms of hands and faces. Usually we are stuck with old ones. So yeah, let us pop on one of those. Just the normal ball joint sort of joints, should I say. And in terms of swapping the faces, it's the same as all the other Vegetas. However, it is slightly redesigned, so you won't be able to use the new Vegeta faces on the old figures, and vice versa, as they really tend to do, and I don't know why. They seem to have something against us reusing the same stuff for different figures. So yeah. In terms of the ball joint as well, before I go on to articulation and such, unfortunately it's the same as Trunks. You can't swap the heads because it's a bigger ball joint. God knows why they are doing that. Again, something to do with not wanting us to reuse the figures. But yeah, in terms of articulation, it is similar to Trunks, but a little bit more limited in some places, and a little bit better in others. As you can see, his looking up is perfect. Don't need any more than that. You can actually go in a flight pose quite convincingly. You can look down really well, and obviously side to side. He's got nice side to side movement as well. The elbows are fine, they can go out that much. Obviously 360. Bicep swivel, you'll notice different joint for the shoulders than Trunks, because they're obviously wanting to make Vegeta look as bulky as possible without completely ruining any articulation he's got. Elbows, if you do it properly, you get a nice more than 90. Bend, you've got swivel and joint there as always. The abs, they have actually corrected that from Trunks, which is why I'm saying it's nearly entirely new mould. The Trunks that we got, if you use the abs going forward, you could see into the joint. Now you can't. You can go back a fair bit, you can pull it forward to get even more, and pop it back in. It's a bit better than Trunks here. You don't see the shadow quite as much as on Trunks, but it's still not the best. I know they had to curve this in order to give him more ab crunch, but I would have really preferred not so much ab crunch and more seamless. You've got a joint here which can go forward and back, and also swivels. In terms of the legs, it's a little bit more limited than Trunks. They can go out that far, a bit more on this side than on this side. Same pointing up the way, you can get about that far up. Double jointed knees, can get really well, and the same strange design for the feet with usual toe articulation. But yeah, on this side it gets actually further up, which is bizarre. I don't know if the joints weren't created equal or something on mine, but from what I've heard, that's the same with everybody. But yeah, he does look similar, but like I said, he isn't the same. This is Trunks. You will notice, first off, Trunks is shinier than Vegeta. I don't know why. You'll also notice Trunks is slightly darker. I hate it, absolutely hate it when they do that. Tamashii seems to absolutely despise keeping anything uniform. Not one Goku gi that they've released so far has been the same. Krillin's gi has been a completely different colour to Goku's. Every single Vegeta they've released thus far has had a different colour of blue on it. I mean, even the difference between Ultimate Gohan and Goku's gi is mind-boggling. I mean, it's the same damn figure, just with a different head. I don't understand, but moaning aside, yeah, as you can see, Vegeta is a slightly more purpley shade of blue, or a more lavender shade, should I say. But yeah, as you can see, the joints on both are actually different. Vegeta's stomach section is more square. Trunks' top bit here is wider. The shoulders are totally different. The arms, yeah, the arms are different as well. They're slightly shorter. The legs are obviously shorter because Vegeta is, as Team 4-Star would call it, a walking, talking Napoleon complex. But yeah, the one thing that's bothering me, and I think it might just be a defect on mine, my Vegeta's leg seems to be a bit bow-legged. Trunks, as you can see, does not have this problem. So yeah, I'm going to get another one anyway once it comes out in America, so that I can get it cheaper. But one will have to do in the meantime. So yeah, guys, hopefully... Oh, one more thing, just need to show you. Jump cut. I just grabbed the first normal Vegeta that came to hand. This is the Datong one. I didn't have the real one to hand. As you can see, the design for the head is wider and bigger. So this is definitely Super Vegeta. And just to prove to you guys that the style, while similar, is totally different, so they won't fit in either design, which is a damn shame. But yeah, you can also see the design for these is a lot wider as well. But I digress. So yeah, guys, that will about do it for this review. I'll put them in a quick pose just before we go. So yeah, would I recommend them? Yes, I definitely would. Despite the flaws that my figure has, yours will probably not have them, because no one else I've spoken to has had any of these issues. Unfortunately, mine was just a one-off. It's not Nippon-San's fault, it's Tamashi's for not checking properly. But yeah, until next time, guys, I'll see y'all later.